I got a new nickname for you. I have a new nickname for you. Holley the Harden hater. That's what I'm going to start calling you. I was thinking about this after yesterday's show. Holley the Harden hater. Because I know it must really make you sick to your stomach to see him flourishing like this. To see somebody.
I want to get that player efficiency rating up a little bit. I just want to shorten it a little bit.
If I wanted to shorten out, if I wanted to shorten it, I would have. It's for the alliteration. Holley,
yeah, I mean you can still get Harden.
The Harden hater.
Holley, the Harden hater. Yeah.
Yes, that's why I did it that way. So anyway, but wear it proudly, because I know it must really make you sick.
Triple H. Is that
there you go?
Call me Triple H.
There you go. That's okay for purposes of this conversation. You got it.
All right.
Because it must really make you mad to watch somebody force his way out of Houston and get his way to Brooklyn. Force his way out of Brooklyn.
Wait.
And get his way in Philadelphia. What? I skipped over something? I conveniently skipped over something? What did I skip over?
Don't skip over the stops. Don't skip over the stops. So, forced his way out of Houston. Then what happened? He got to Brooklyn. What happened there? What happened?
Forced his way out of Brooklyn.
What did he do?
I just said that.
I know, but what did he do there?
Yeah.
While he was there, what did he do?
Well, last year he was in MVP conversation when he got there. I'm glad you asked that, because that actually dovetails into what I want to say about Philadelphia. When he got there, he was one of the best players in the league when he got there, but he was never going to be MVP because of people like you. And then he got hurt at the end of the season, and we all know the rest is, of course, history. He got hurt. Kyrie got hurt. The rest is history, okay? Now, this year, he dogs it toward the end in Brooklyn, and now you're seeing a focused, committed James Harden, who last night against the Knicks, second game against the Knicks, what was it, 26-9-9? 26-9-9. But it's not just James Harden. Embiid still getting his with 27. Tyrese Maxey is really stepping into that third option spot with 25. And so I just know that you're going to hit me. The reason I called you Holley the Harden hater is I just came in today with the expectation that you would hit me with a combination of two things, or three things maybe.
Okay, here it is.
Small sample size.
Strike. You'll get your preemptive
small
strike.
Sample size.
Got nothing.
Small sample size.
Got nothing to say about that.
Two of these games against the Knicks.
You can't pick your schedule.
And
pick for
wait
you.
for it.
I got nothing to say about that.
And wait for it. Just wait for it. Eventually, it'll all fall apart. That's what you're going to tell me. So that's the one. Okay, go right ahead.
That's the one.
I fully expected
that. Streak. I like that.
Not to get caught up in what my eyes are telling me, that this is an amazing fit with Joel Embiid, that this is arguably the best duo in the NBA already. Don't believe that, Michael. Just wait for it is what you're going to tell me, right? Wait for it to fall apart.
We've talked about you. I saw in that clip, that best of clip, you talk about the KIT and last day of school pimping and all that stuff. One of the signs, we talk about relationships a lot on the show. One of the signs.
Hey, Pimpin, do this real quick. Do that real quick.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you. See, that's love.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's love right there. That's love. Because some people let you.
Go ahead.
And that's a sign of a relationship going nowhere, too. You got something in your nose, something in your teeth, something on your lip, and nobody tells you about it. Okay? That's somebody you really can't trust. That's a fake friend. That's a superficial relationship that's going nowhere. But I tell you another sign. Of a relationship going nowhere. You sit down with somebody, and they are just so complimentary of you, under the guise of, they're talking about you, but they're talking about somebody else. You know what? Michael Smith, you're such a gentleman. Last man I was with, he never opened the door for me. You know, he never would pay for the dinner. He always made me pay. You know, and under the guise of liberation, he'd say, "Let's go Dutch. You know, let's pay for our own. You got this. You got an extra soda, so you got to pay more. You know, you're so kind. You're so handsome. You're so nice. The last one I was with, okay, look, I understand Philadelphia. The Philadelphia fans are that person to James Harden. We love you, James. James, we're so glad you're here. You know who they are? You know who else they said that to? They said that to Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons used to hear that. He was the number one pick in the draft. He was part of the process with Joel Embiid. They loved him too. They loved him up. Come here, Ben. So good to see you. We're so excited about our future. You're a big point guard who can do it all. You should be Defensive Player of the Year. They were saying that last year about Ben Simmons. Last year. Hey, as a matter of fact, the coach is loving you up right now. Our former black president, Doc Rivers, he lost the presidency, but our former black president, Doc Rivers, was talking about Ben Simmons. And people don't understand all the things that Ben Simmons brings to our team. So enjoy it now. As a matter of fact, I'm not Holley the Harden hater. I am Harden's advisor right now. I'm advising him, don't get caught up in this. Don't go to Instagram looking for the likes. Okay? They're there right now. But just wait. Just wait. They've done this before. Okay, it's early. I'm glad they're having fun. I'm happy for James.
I got to say, all right, here's a backhanded compliment. Here's a backhanded compliment, which is, since it's not backhanded, since it's coming in the front end.
I turned it around, right? I turned it around.
Yeah, but it was bullshit, though. It was not in a good way, not in a clever way, not in an effective way. Like, the backhanded compliment is, you never cease to amaze me with your contortionism. Like, you should be a halftime act at an NBA game. You are one of the best contortionists I've ever seen when it comes to moving the goalposts or redirecting an argument or building a straw man or grasping at a straw man or a red herring. Like, so what I did not expect today, I expected you to say, well, what about defense? Or I expected you to say, well, their next few games coming up are the Cavaliers, the Heat, the Cavaliers, the Heat, exactly. The Cavaliers, the Heat, the Bulls, and the Nets are their next 4 games. So I expected you to say, hey, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's wait a second until they play a real good team. No disrespect to the Timberwolves.
I'm not gonna do
but 2 games against the Knicks is not a championship contender.
Timberwolves are a good team.
You just sat up here. That's why I said no disrespect. You just sat up here and said, for essentially what I think I heard you just say was not wait for it when James Harden ends up exposing himself. It was wait for the Philly fans to turn on Harden because they're fickle? What kind of lame, what is that? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like,
okay, let me tell you something.
On behalf of Philly fans, I apologize if they were frustrated by a guy who wouldn't shoot at all.
We're frustrated.
Who?
This time,
he
didn't shoot last year.
I'm talking about Ben Simmons.
This time last year.
I'm talking about Ben Simmons.
I know. I'm talking about him too.
No,
this time last year.
But their frustrations weren't
nary.
Well, you weren't listening. You weren't listening. Their frustration with Ben Simmons did not begin in the playoffs last year. Their frustration with Ben Simmons goes back years. So they had been frustrated with Ben Simmons' inability or unwillingness to shoot, him coming up small in the playoffs. Last year was just a straw that broke the camel's back. And we all know what happened last year. But Philly fans, like most fans, love the one they're with until the one they're with decides they no longer want to be there. So that's why Philly turned on him when he decided to check completely out. Not just the Atlanta series, but when he was like, I don't want to be here. But your argument, Michael, cannot be, in good conscience, Philadelphia is going to turn on you, Harden. I thought now you're the Harden and the Philly hater?
Argument. I know, no, that's not an argument. That's responding to James saying, that's just all off of his, hey, they love me, I feel the love here, and it makes me want to play harder. That's all that's connected to. But let me tell you this.
Maybe you should have gone first.
Let me tell you this.
Okay. Well, you should have said that first. You should have led with that.
Let me just.
And I should have let you respond to the side. That's my bad.
You should just kind of read the room. That's the show led with that. We led with that today. That was
no right. But you didn't respond to anything. But with the context in which you said that sounded like your skepticism about whether or not this would work.
No.
Was rooted in Philadelphia is going to turn on you. That's what it sounded like I was getting.
No. That has nothing to do. Because that's well done. My skepticism is well documented, and I'm not even going to get into that because I'm going to tell you this, Michael Smith. You are absolutely right. I accept the criticism. I agree with it. That I will strategically move the goalpost, just like Ali on the rope-a-dope. If I find myself in trouble, I'll move it around over here a little bit to get a little bit of rest before I make the next move. So yeah, I'll move it around. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. But it's a nice tool to have in the bag. But if I'm a contortionist, this is what you are. You are the absolute, undisputed king of regular season championships, or championships before the playoffs have even begun. I have never seen anybody spike the football, dunk the basketball, pimp on the home run. What else? Do a little, give one of those in hockey. Whatever they do in hockey on the celebration. I've never seen anybody celebrate regular season, meaningless regular season accomplishments like Michael Smith. So am I supposed to be afraid of Philadelphia right now with a handful of games left in the regular season? Are they still what are they, the 3 seed? They're still the 3 seed in the East, right? They're the 3 seed in the East. They've got 2 great players. They're not the only team in the East with 2 great players. They do. They got them. Miami's got them. Chicago's got them. The Bucks won last night. They're the defending champs. They got the best player in basketball. Yeah, I said it. They got the best player in basketball in Giannis. So I'm supposed to be afraid of Philadelphia in the regular season getting a win in their 4th or 5th game, whatever it is, with James Harden. I'm unbothered. So, that's what I am. I'm not even impressed about it.
So I think now we're getting in the proximity of a point. Okay. So if you want to say that I have not, if you want to say that I am not convinced after 3 games, 2 of them against the Knicks, that Philadelphia is a contender, or I don't trust James Harden, I don't trust him to stay healthy, I don't trust him to continue to play like this the rest of the way.
I trust James Harden.
No, I'm saying, no, Michael, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you wanted to say something like that,
I don't.
Then okay, but you don't. But that's not my point. No. I'm saying hypothetically, if that's what you wanted to say, that's one thing, okay? But for you to tell me that I'm overreacting, well, okay. So if you've seen enough from James Harden in 3 games, if you've seen enough of this tandem, this pairing with Joel Embiid in 3 games, to not have any reservations about whether or not this chemistry experiment, which ain't even an experiment, could work, then we don't necessarily disagree. So having said all of that, tell me what.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you don't think that they should be considered favorites in the Eastern Conference. You don't think people should be afraid of the 76ers. You're not ready to crown them right now. Okay, that's fair.
Right.
All we can go on is what we've seen. It's a projection. Because now I'm going back to your criticism of me, your constructive criticism of me. If you think that I overreact to regular season games, I'd rather be ahead than decide to jump on a bandwagon once they're deep into the playoffs, and then you decide to say that they're the best team. So, yeah, I'm overreacting because they ain't played the playoffs yet. I can only go by what they've done so far. And through 3 games, this tandem looks incredible. So it's my job to now project at how I think it's going to go in the playoffs. It's all a guessing game. I'm not saying that they're a lock to win the championship. I'm saying right now they're the scariest team. With all due respect to the defending champs.
Wow.
With those 2 guys, they have the best duo in the NBA right now, in perhaps the MVP and a former MVP who has regained his MVP form. So with those 2 guys, as well as I haven't changed anything I said over the last 3 days.
Yes, you have.
I'm not changing anything.
Okay.
I'm not changing anything.
Well,
I'm mad focused.
You haven't changed anything.
My eyes are on the prize. You're telling me I'm overreacting. To what else am I to react other than what I've seen so far? If you think it's premature, then say that.
How do they have the bet? No, you've told me that the man coming back tonight, and we'll talk about him later, I'm sure. You told me that Kevin Durant, you think Kevin Durant's the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
So Kevin Durant, he's coming back tonight. You go on. You've told me that Kyrie Irving was gifted, was born to put a basketball in the rim, in the hole. That's what he does. He's an artist. He's unbelievable. Like one of the most gifted scorers you've ever seen. You said that. So you got Kyrie and Kevin Durant. How then do the Philadelphia 76ers have the best duo in the NBA when you feel that way about the guys that are in Brooklyn? That's why I'm confused.
Okay.
So explain that to me.
Unless I've missed the development, one of them only plays road games for the time being. Okay? And just because one of them has he's on the team half the time. And if you want to play the draft game, okay, if Kevin Durant's the number 1 in this foursome, if Kevin Durant's the number 1, Joel Embiid's a pretty close second right now. The third guy is Harden.
And then Kyrie is 3.
And the third guy is Harden. Well, then agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
Yeah, I don't agree with
what
that.
I do know.
I don't agree. Hey,
okay, fine.
I don't agree.
What I do know is that Harden is playing right now, and Kyrie tonight, when they play Miami, will not be playing because it's in Brooklyn. Okay, so that's where I'm at with this. If you still need to see more, that's fair and that's completely understandable. Which goes back to how I started this segment.
I don't need to see more. I've seen enough. It is entertaining. It's good for Philadelphia. It's fun, but it's not scary to me. It's effective. It's effective because they went from this is why Philadelphia, rightfully so, why 76ers fans are excited. For most of the season, they saw Joel Embiid put together an incredible MVP statement with 3 exclamation points. He was doing that by himself. No disrespect to the other guys, but he was the star. They had 1 star on the roster, they had 1 all-star, and now they added another one. So they've now caught up to some teams that have done this already. I mean, like Miami has had stars all season. Milwaukee has had stars all season. Hell, even Boston has 2 stars.
This could have been just 2 stars. This could have been honestly, this boils down to one thing and one thing only, and this goes back through the history of our time together doing this show. And I was right how I started. I started this segment exactly the way it should have been started. Because everything you say comes back to one central point. You ain't a Harden guy. You're not a Harden. You've never been a Harden guy. You've never been a Harden guy.
But I don't hate him.
Ever.
I don't hate him.
Well, you hate on him. You hate on him.
I don't hate
you don't
on
hate him
him
personally. You don't hate anybody. You love all of God's children.
I love him.
Yeah, I get that. You hate on James Harden. And you have. You have in every ranking we've ever done. You have in every conversation we've ever had about him getting out of Houston. Every conversation we had about Brooklyn. I'll give you that. Consistently wrong, but consistent. But consistent nonetheless. I will give you that.
I hope he does the Cincinnati Bengals. I hope he makes it all the way to the NBA Finals. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.